Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemons, and what the hell is Madam Web about? Respectfully, of course. When I say what the hell, I mean it in a really nice tone. I've seen the trailer, I've seen the poster, thank God they got a new one, and I've seen the ocean spray, and I'm still a little confused. This movie comes out next month, and I don't know anything about it, and I thought I did. This video isn't an attack on Madam Web at all. This trailer was a lot to take in, lots of exposition mixed with time jumping, and a man who just keeps choking women, and I don't like it. I was just trying to piece a lot together, and then something new would just pop up, so I did my own research, and I'm here to tell you everything you need to know about the movie before seeing it because it comes out in less than a month. Less than a month. I'll also explain how this movie is actually very important in the Sonyverse. No matter how much you might not want to see it, you must, because believe it or not, we're leaving the origin stories and physically stepping into the Sonyverse now through Madam Web. And here's how. But first, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes launching your own website a breeze. Be sure to check out nerdriot.shop to check out the latest and greatest in New Rockstars merch. You can grab a shirt featuring Kingpin, or maybe a shirt featuring the best bubs, Deadpool and Wolverine, or maybe one of our many great other options. Grabbing some merch from nerdriot.shop is the best way to support the channel and all the work we do here at New Rockstars, and what makes me come to work all day, because normally I wouldn't. This movie drops on February 14th, which will be like my 4th time seeing a Dakota Johnson movie alone on Valentine's Day. And according to IMDb, emphasis on according, because it's not always correct. Some people could just go in there and edit it like Wikipedia, so it's according to IMDb. This stars Dakota Johnson as Madam Web, Sydney Sweeney as Julia Carpenter, Isabella Merced as Anya Corazon, Celeste O'Connor as Maddie Franklin, Taha Rahim as Ezekiel Sims, and possibly Adam Scott as Ben Parker, and frickin' Emma Roberts as Mary Parker, aka Spider-Man's mom. And from some set photos, it looks like she's pregnant with our boy, and it is a boy. The movie's directed by S.J. Clarkson, who directed episodes of The Defenders and Jessica Jones, so you know I'm already in. This movie, along with Venom, Mobius, Kraven, will still exist within the Sonyverse, so it's all within its own little web. And you know, Vulture's there now too. This story follows Cassandra Webb, aka Madam Web, or Cassie Webb, as an origin story who receives visions about the future in small fragments and is currently protecting 3 young future Spider women. According to Dakota Johnson, this was before Madam Web was in her wheelchair, and she's hyper intelligent, and these visions make her feel like she's going insane. And remember, it's an origin story, so her visions are not all there and not proficient in it. As she gets these visions, she sees a man in a black suit and mask trying to kill her and the other women she's protecting. This man is Ezekiel Sims, who's framed as the villain of this story. As for production and synopsis, that's what we know, and that was easy to understand, like, right? Truthfully, the trailer might have left you wondering what the hell is this about, and that's okay. It introduces a lot of information without prior knowledge, and it's our job here to clear up that confusion for you, so bet on it. Eric does the breakdown for the Madam Web trailer if you want those amazing Easter eggs that lead to theories. He also has a great video about the world we're sewing Madam Web, Kraven, and Venom into that's important and quintessential in the future of the Sonyverse. I'll speak on that video later in here as well, but all to say, this is our 10-minute video so you're not confused. So what's the whole reason for this? Like most in-universe franchises, it's to lift their future pictures towards a bigger event or in big business talk, make more money. But really, it's working toward a bigger thing. They round out all the characters, creatively get the chance to maybe clear up some unanswered questions, and everyone loves watching their favorite characters do crossovers. The merch money doesn't hurt for that either. More money! That's all Sony thinks about, is actually that green. So Madam Web's origin story with these key characters will probably lead us to the importance of the Spider-Verse in ways we didn't know really existed. I'd say we learned a lot from Across the Spider-Verse. Miguel O'Hara cleared up anomalies, canon events, and introduced us to the variant Spider-Men and the Spider Society. But Madam Web introducing Ezekiel Sims is a game changer and will throw us into uncharted territory. In the comics, Ezekiel Sims gets his power by exploring and undergoing a ritual that grants him spider-like powers. He tells Peter that maybe he's not a spider by choice, but by destiny, bringing us to the web life of destiny. If you watched Eric's video, then you know what that is. Still, if you don't, let me explain, and I promise this will come full circle to what the movie is trying to accomplish. All the Spideys, anyone bit by a radioactive spider, is tied into the web life of destiny. There are also spider totems linked to the web life of destiny, like the Great Weaver, the Gatekeeper, and others. Still, these totems can choose their avatars or manifest independently. Imagine Moon Knight and Khonshu. Peter was the avatar for the other, and Cindy Moon was an avatar for the bride. Then there's things like Morlun, or Morlun, however you want to pronounce it, who is a member of the Inheritors, who are totems of the Leech, the lowest of all totems in the multiverse, only able to parasite the powers of others. They feed on the life forces of totemic avatars and gods. In one issue, Morlun touched Peter and knew where he was at all times from the single touch, and Ezekiel was like, peace dude, he knows where you're at all times. And I think Ezekiel Sims is a clear MacGuffin for this movie, because we see Maddie Franklin getting her life force sucked out of her in the trailer. I think that man in the black suit is actually Morlun, who killed and took a Spider-Man's costume. We coincidentally see the man man in the black suit switch between himself and Ezekiel often, and I think that's Cassandra's fragmented visions. She's seen Sims from images, and how suspicious! He still looks exactly like the scientist that traveled to Amazon with her mom back in the day. Her visions are playing games with him, or maybe it's just Morlun. At one point, Ezekiel says this:
I have no idea what those girls are called.
That's Morlun playing tricks on her, trying to persuade her into delivering the girls to him. Brandon believes this could be a possessed Sims by Morlun, which could still stand, but I like to think every time we see these girls in the Spidey costumes, they're attacking the real Sims who's in hiding from Morlun. In the comics, he trapped Cindy Moon in a room, and I think it was like to protect her from Morlun after she was bitten. He knew the villains were coming to take out the Spider-Man and try protecting them. It was literally insane to kidnap Cindy Moon for like 13 years, so I think the appropriate version of that story is him in hiding in his own home for 13 years, which looks to be true in the trailer. All this to say, we're used to hearing it was a radioactive spider, so Madam Web will venture into what if it wasn't a coincidence. Recognizing the web life of Destiny protecting it and giving the Sony Spider-Verse their chance to connect everything around Spider-Man is what they're aiming to do. Again, I'd ask myself here, well, didn't Miguel sort of make something like that in Across the Spider-Verse? Well, firstly, he made a team. He didn't choose who was bitten. Though to note, the Web of Life is also Madam Web's source of clairvoyance and how the Spideys have their Spidey senses, so that connection won't go unnoticed here. If you're a new year, new you kind of person and an online kind of person, then it's really a new year, new URL. If you're looking to get the most out of your site, you should check out Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that provides you with everything you need to know to do whatever you need with your website. Squarespace has templates and designs for pretty much everything. So whether you're making your very first website or sprucing up one for the new year, using Squarespace makes it super easy to customize your look, update content, and add features to fit your unique needs. For instance, Squarespace makes it easy to sell merch. You can design your products and save time and money by letting Squarespace handle production, inventory, and shipping. And if you're selling any other kind of physical goods, digital goods, or even a service, Squarespace makes it easy to build your storefront and grow your business. Just head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/newrockstars to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. With her eyes on the Web of Life, Madam Web probably guides who gets bitten, playing the role of the Master Weaver to it all. Even if she's not the Master Weaver, this is really important and pivotal to Sony because they want the franchise to last. And if you need a bunch of Spider-Men to take on something massive, you need that info from Miguel or the Web of Life. It seems easier to get that info from Madam Web, who sees it all, and for production purposes, it can stay in the live action world for now so Lord and Miller won't have to panic. Other than Ezekiel Sims' character being introduced and being a super MacGuffin, other characters are important to Madam Web's lineage. People like Julia Carpenter being played by Sydney Sweeney. Julia Carpenter was a Spider-Woman who showed up during Secret Wars, engaged in a science experiment gone wrong, and developed superpowers. She shoots adhesive strands of psionic energy, which is still very crazy to me. Cassandra Webb, Anya Corazon, and Julia Carpenter cross paths when Kraven and his gang hunt them down and kill Cassandra, and then she passes on her powers to Julia Carpenter, making her a new pseudo Madam Web. Maddie Franklin, played by Celeste O'Connor, got her powers from a ritual that Madam Web attended. Anya Corazon, played by Isabella Merced, was chosen by the Spider Society and given spider powers. She crossed paths with Madam Web's Julia Carpenter and Madam Web in the comics as well. With those three future Spider-Women being addressed with these connections in the comics, in the trailer it shows they somewhat have a connection to Cassandra still, and this must be their destiny. So another question on everyone's mind is, where is our Spider-Man? Well, behind door number 3, there's no doors here, I'm in a blue dungeon, is pregnant Mary Parker. From behind the scenes photos of Beyonce's debut album on set, this would be set like 20 years ago. We're getting a younger Madam Web, possibly a young Ben Parker, and a pregnant Mary Parker. So in this world, Spider-Man hasn't been born yet. And I naturally would believe maybe this world Spider-Man is actually these fab future Spider-Women. But you don't have a pregnant Mary Parker and not give us that baby Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? So there's a reason why possible young Ben and Mary are here, and I assume it's because Madam Web has to protect that baby. What do they say in Heroes? Save the baby, save the world? Something like that. My follow-up question would be, Jessica, but why not just let the baby die? Because it's a baby, you horrible animals. Cassandra is a paramedic, and Ben is clearly her friend. She goes to a baby shower. I'm sure that vision of the baby being delivered in the wet comes to her at that baby shower. Do you think if she saw in the future this baby is about to be stolen by a time-jumping vampire that eats people, she'd just stand by? Absolutely not. So she's going to protect that baby and probably enlist these young women after finding out they are also future Spideys. There's been some questions up in the air about whether or not that baby is Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, and timeline-wise, I don't think it works. This could be a new Peter Parker for this universe or an entirely new Spider-Man. That's the thing, there simply might not be a Peter Parker. That could be the Green Goblin. This could be a universe where Mary's baby is just actually a normal boy because Madam Web can shift things if she's able to guide who's bitten or change the future. You let me know who you think it is after that research and dive into Madam Web, Ezekiel Sims, and Morlun. I'm actually very excited for this movie. Hopefully they don't kill that baby. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lulu_Clemons. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Check out the break room and the deep dive. Wait, my Spidey senses are tingling.